So it only took most of the year, but the first trailer for Season 2 of The Mandalorian has finally hit the internet, and now it is time for us to go through it and pick it apart piece by piece and discover what we're going to be looking forward to in the upcoming season. Hello everybody and welcome back to Joker's Movie Network. I'm your host Joker, and today we have finally in front of us the Mandalorian Season 2 official teaser trailer. And I gotta say, for a trailer that was about 2 minutes long, it really did not give anything away. This was definitely the tease of all trailers. It was amazing how much they just teased that a little bit here and there, did not give us a whole lot, so we really have to be nitpicky with all of the screenshots from this trailer to get some kind of a story out of it. First and foremost, to many of you that were expecting a reaction to this trailer, I'm sorry I could not get one out. This trailer came out while I was at work, and I just ended up watching it anyway because I knew I would not have time to do this later. So I decided to just go ahead, watch it a couple times, and do a full in-depth breakdown because I haven't done one of those in a while either. But nevertheless, we are going to be getting more Mandalorian content, which means more Mandalorian videos. But let's go ahead, break this trailer down, and see what we can get out of it, because at face value, there's a lot of things, and then I have a couple things I'm trying to put together in my head and see if any of them make sense. So first off, we start off the trailer with this scene of the Razor Crest flying through space, and the first time I saw it, I knew something was wrong. The ship was flying kind of like crooked and sideways. It was kind of waving back and forth. The back hatch is open, and then the right thruster, you see a bunch of sparks shooting out of it. So obviously, there was a fight that just went down right before this shot. So he's obviously very damaged. He's flying towards what looks like this planet off in the distance. Almost kind of looks like Earth a little bit, but not much to tell from there. We move into this next shot, which I think is really cool and really clever, because we get to see the Mandalorian and the child come under like street lights almost, and you kind of see them get illuminated as they walk toward the camera, and I just thought it was really cool. And it looks like they're walking towards this new planet. It could be new, or it could be one we already know. They haven't told us, so we really don't know. But it's a really cool, almost downtown city-like area. So I really like the overhead streetlights. You don't really see that a lot in a lot of the planets that we have in Star Wars already. So seeing kind of like realistic lighting that we have in our world, I think it just makes it kind of cool. It's a cool connection for me. But I love all the graffiti on the walls. I love the way the buildings are made, because if you see that one right off in the distance, there's like no architectural structure to that. It's just kind of stuff sticking out every which way. It's kind of neat. Actually, if you look really closely at that building, it almost looks like the hash-slinging slasher, so that's funny. Then we get a shot of what I assume is Tatooine, considering we have a sand person riding a bantha. But I mean, that doesn't have to be, indigenous to just Tatooine. That could be to any sand or desert type planet. We really don't know. But then it gets really interesting as we get this shot of the Razor Crest flying towards this canyon on a snowbank planet. Now, of course, you see snow on a planet, our first instinct is to go, it's Hoth. But I don't necessarily think it's Hoth, and I'm pretty sure everyone else is putting the dots together themselves that they think this could potentially be Ilum. For those of you unaware, Ilum was a very Force-sensitive planet, and it was a planet where a lot of the Jedi went to collect their kyber crystals when building their lightsabers. Ilum later then became part of the Imperial area, and was then turned into Starkiller Base, which we see in the sequel trilogy. And it really took a while for us to confirm that it was Ilum, because they never really told us outright that Starkiller Base was built into Ilum. But if you go back and play Jedi Fallen Order, which is canon, you see at one point when you go to Ilum, you just see the snowbanks. But when you return to Ilum, you can see that construction has begun, and you can see that ring coming around the side of the planet where the laser is going to be shooting out of later. So very certain that this is Ilum, but I could be wrong, and this could all be brand new planets, but we will find out. Now, this shot is what really got me thinking. Now, we see more of this snow planet that we had seen before, potentially still Ilum, but we've got the Mandalorian kneeling next to the child, and behind them is this ship. Now, at first glance, everyone was thinking, oh, this is a Republic-era cruiser from the Clone Wars or something like that. And at first glance, I really thought it could have been an LAAT gunship, but the dimensions and some of the guns on the side don't really match up. But if you look closely at the cannons at the front of this, I'm assuming is a ship, it matches perfectly with the cannons on front of the Razor Crest. It's possible that they crashed on this planet. I really don't know. I have some theories to that, which I'll get into after we go through this trailer. But it is possible that this could actually be the crashed Razor Crest behind him, and not some other ship from the Republic Clone Wars era. But then we start getting into the real meat of this trailer. We get a great shot of what I'm assuming, and what everyone else has been assuming, is actually Mon Cala. And there's pretty good evidence to support this one. It's an entire water planet, and we see a lot of the Quarren, which are the alien species that shares the planet with the calamari. Put everything together, this is pretty much a ship dock on the seas of Mon Cala, which is awesome. This is something that we haven't seen in live action yet, so this is really cool, and I'm wondering how much Mon Cala will actually play in this season, because it looks like it's going to be bringing in some new characters, with this next shot being the one and only Sasha Banks playing... We don't know who she's playing. There's a lot of speculation. And then we get the shot of Sasha as they're talking about the Jedi, so everyone's instantly like, oh, she's playing a Jedi, or she's playing a Force user of some sort. And yes and no, and of course, the hood really doesn't help any arguments against her being Force sensitive or a Jedi of some sort. But at the same time, when you look at it, everyone also seems to be assuming that she's going to be playing Sabine Wren. Of course, there's the whole giant theory that a lot of Rebels characters are going to be appearing in The Mandalorian, including but not limited to Sabine Wren, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, Captain Rex. Now, not all of that is confirmed. Like we've been saying for what feels like a year and a half now, that Rosario Dawson is going to be playing Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. But that was never officially confirmed from anybody, like not even herself. She was like, oh yeah, that would be amazing, which, sometimes is a yes, that's a confirms it, and sometimes no, it doesn't. But there's never been any official confirmation of that at all. So we're going to really have to wait and see once the actual season starts if Rosario Dawson is going to be Ahsoka Tano. And if she is, it would make perfect sense for Sasha Banks to be playing Sabine Wren, since she was last seen with Ahsoka in the end of Star Wars Rebels, which the end of Rebels takes place after Return of the Jedi. And then we get some really clean shots of the Razor Crest flying through space, being what looks like he's being escorted by 2 X-Wings, which then turns into a little bit of a dogfight. As in this next scene, we have this beautiful landscape shot of just a big cloud formation and the Razor Crest flying through with 2 X-Wings flying behind him. And that scene in the trailer is sick. Just seeing the actual speed of the ships flying past the screen just got me so engaged. I was like, yes, dogfights, let's do this. And then we end up getting back into some more Tatooine Land Spader-based stuff. There's a really interesting theory that goes behind this image here, and I'll get into that later. But for now, we're going to keep going. We get back into some Cara Dune and some Greef Karga action on the planet of Navarro. All dressed up in their new outfits. Everything's looking great. It's a bright and sunny day, too, so it looks like, everything's being just fine on Navarro, but who knows? And then we get into the more Imperial side of this trailer. We get some shots of some TIE fighters that are parked in their landing position, which I'm guessing this is some sort of a prototype or just a new model TIE fighter, because I don't understand why the wings collapse like that. Original TIEs don't do that, so I'm assuming this is a different model. I personally don't care much for it. I honestly don't see a reason for the wings to collapse, since we've seen how TIE fighters can land on the wings and how they land in hangar bays. So what would be the point in the wings collapsing? I don't know. Maybe they just thought it was cool. We get a fantastic scene of some stormtroopers running down the hallways of what I believe to be a Star Destroyer. And I believe that because if we go back to the Entertainment Weekly photos that came out, there was that great picture of Giancarlo Esposito, who's playing Moff Gideon, standing in a room which we couldn't tell it was blurred out, but all of the buttons and all the hatches that were kind of blurred out in the background pointed to the idea that he was probably on the bridge of a Star Destroyer or another Imperial cruiser, so I'm assuming this is probably in the same area. We get some pretty badass shots of some scout troopers on their bikes jumping off of a platform into a ravine, and it looks like they're chasing the Mandalorian, who is taking off on his brand new jetpack that he's finally gotten, which I think is badass. So there's going to be a lot of chasing. This is what it seems like. We've got the Razor Crest being chased by X-Wings. We've got the Mandalorian being chased by speeder bikes. There's going to be a lot of running around in this season. We do get some more shots from some of the planets we saw earlier, like the Graffiti Planet, which is what I'm going to be calling it. We've got a guy hanging upside down by a lamppost. No idea what's going on there. We also get another shot of the supposed Ilum planet with the Mandalorian carrying the child into this cavern, which only leads me to believe more that this is Ilum. We've got a crazy shot of the Razor Crest coming into the atmosphere of a planet and burning up in the atmosphere. So obviously the ship was damaged before, so there's probably no deflector shields on right now. So it's just burning up as it's trying to get through to the atmosphere. And then we get this awesome shot of him walking into this underground arena, which almost looks like some sort of an octagon style match with 2 Gamorreans that are just going at it, which if you're not familiar, the Gamorreans were the guards in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. They're pretty ugly looking guys, but they're just going at it with battle axes in this ring. They're not boxing. They're just straight up trying to kill each other, and it's pretty hardcore. We get a look at a new character as well by what happens to be, apparently, if you watch the trailer when it first came out with subtitles on, it actually had the names of the characters who were talking. And this character was apparently leaked as what's potentially known as Gor Koresh, and he is one of the Abyssian species, which is a cycloptic alien. And it looks like he and his crew are jumping the Mandalorian here, which obviously doesn't work. And when the Whistling Birds comes out, it just starts this great scene of the child leaning forward and tapping the outside of the hammock that he's sitting in, and it just closes, and you just hear a bunch of action going on. And then when it comes back to, we got a Zabrak getting a knife in the chest, and the Mandalorian wins with "This is the way." So that's a complete basic breakdown of what we saw in the trailer and some of the ideas that could come from these scenes. Now let's try to put a couple of these things together, and here's what I'm thinking. Let's go back to that scene of the ship that was crashed on what I'm going to be calling Ilum. Now this is how I think this works, but I also have some holes that are already in place for this, so I'm expecting that. So we have this scene that looks like the Razor Crest crashed behind him. If this is true, here is my theories. Let's go back to the beginning. So the very first scene we see is the Razor Crest kind of just hobbling through space above this giant planet. If you look at the design of the planet, it looks like it resembles a gas giant, very similar to Jupiter. Now, using that reasoning and science, I guess, you can look at that and say, well, one of the gas giants in Star Wars is Bespin. Now, I'm not saying this is Bespin, but that gives you an idea of what the planet could consist of. Mainly just a bunch of gas and clouds and really no physical solid ground to walk on. Where am I going with this? Well, it looks like this scene of the busted up Razor Crest happens after this scene of him getting chased through those clouds by the two X-Wings. So maybe that was a true dogfight, and the X-Wings in the New Republic got the better of him, so his ship was a little damaged. Now from there, we go back to that scene, and we see that he's headed past that planet, which could potentially have been the planet he was just fighting on with the two X-Wings, headed towards this water planet, which looks to be what, I guess if it's a water planet, it's probably Mon Cala that we saw later in the trailer. That's probably where that's going to be taking place. Now, my other reasoning is I don't know exactly how that's going to go, because if that's the case and he just got in a fight and he's about to crash, he wouldn't be crashing on Mon Cala. He'd be crashing on Ilum, the ice planet we just saw earlier. So there you can see where my story kind of starts to fall apart. So we got the fight with the X-Wings, the potential damaged ship above the planet where he was just fighting the X-Wings, either landing on Ilum or going straight to Mon Cala. Really don't know, and these are just theories. But now going to the real nitpicky theories that you really gotta want to see it to believe it kind of thing. We go back to the scene on the desert planet where you can see him going through on this speeder bike. Apparently, if you enhance this image and zoom in, and I'm going to try to do it as best I can right now, whatever's on the back of this speeder is supposedly from someone that looked really hard and I guess wanted to see it. It looks like it's Boba Fett's jetpack. Take what you will from that. I can barely make it out. And apparently the thing right there directly to the right is supposedly his helmet just hanging off of the side there. I don't know if that's people just wanting Boba Fett to be in The Mandalorian so bad that they're trying to see that or what. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I can see the jetpack part. I can barely make out that shape on the right. If that's actually a helmet, I can't see it. But that is my full breakdown, including some of the ideas on how these scenes could potentially work together. Do you think I'm right, or do you think I have something backwards? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know, did you like this trailer for The Mandalorian? Do you think it was a pretty good teaser? Do you potentially think it gave away too much, or do you think it gave us nothing at all? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to talk about it. But until we get any more news on The Mandalorian, assuming we get anything else before October 30th, when it hits Disney+, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more movie news videos or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.